Hello guys, and welcome back to a bit of a different Tuesday morning for a few reasons. Number one, I'm sat in a car at 10 o'clock. I haven't even been to work yet. I'll let you know why soon. And secondly, I've woken up to a winter wonderland. And by the way, at 8 o'clock this morning, this was a lot different to this. It was white everywhere. The roads were horrendous. When I took Charlie to school, the roads were closed and everything. So, what am I doing? And what am I in? Well, you'll probably notice I'm in the little Fusion, which, like I mentioned, somebody purchased it, and I said I would sort the MOT out for them when I was ready, when we could get time, because we were really busy. So, as it happened, last night, the only thing this car really required for the MOT was a rear wheel bearing, which on these is just pushed into a brake drum. You don't have to really do anything other than just take the drum off. Easy as that. So the guy dropped the car off last night to mine, and I just took it into work last night and just quickly did that, so it's done. Because I had a little feeling this morning. I text my pal where I do the MOT and I found out I had a slot. So I texted him at 8 o'clock and I says, I'll be passing at 9 o'clock. So I thought, hold on, my son's school is right next door, practically, to the MOT station. So I thought, hold on. And I don't often have Charlie through the week. I thought I'll kill two birds with one stone here. Dropped him off at school, 8:30. Got back into the car, 8:45, round the corner, MOT'd the car, job done. Now it's finished. So now everything for today, like this was going to be kind of, I did this as a favour to the guy who bought the car. So really this isn't a paying job, so to speak. Like, it is, but we're not making next to nothing on it. So that's it done. So I thought, well, I'll kill two birds with one stone, get the car out, take my son to school, get the car out the way. Now it means it's ready to be collected and taken away. So yeah, nice clean MOT on it. The only few things, like I mentioned, there was a front tyre and the other limits. All three are brand new. The brake pipes are covered in underseal. You've seen this covered the underneath on this car. And the exhaust mounting, it says defective. It's just the way the advisory comes out, but it's exhaust hangers slightly corroded. They're all the same on these Fords. It's just to cover yourself. Nothing wrong with them. Original Ford exhausts, like stainless steel, the back box and that. Just the little hangers. What I would suggest to the guy, if he wants to spend a bit of money, just get a little bit of weld, spit it onto them, and it'll last for a long time. So that's this done. So what I'm going to do now, as you can see behind me there, I'm just busy sitting at the co-op. I'm absolutely freezing cold because I've actually been outside since 8 o'clock. The ice in the car, I will say, it was actually a good thing having this car this morning. Hit the heated front windscreen, and that was absolutely ideal. The windscreen was cleared within seconds. Perfect. Yeah, so that's a nice morning of work done and out the way, done. Getting in, I don't even know what's at work. As a crew, got to do some work, do the white one. And to be honest, I've got Charlie to re-pick up again at 3 from school. But on to something else not car related. Hunter, as you know, he went through a procedure on Friday. We dropped him off at 9 o'clock in the morning and we didn't pick him up until 7:30 at night. And really, he didn't get an operation or anything. It was just to inspect something in his mouth, his injury, which we're not really getting anywhere yet. He's still got a lump under here. So me and Holly are both on tender hooks. That was £600, like I mentioned. And when we went yesterday for his checkup, just a pre-checkup after a procedure, the guy mentioned he could possibly need a scan, which is going to be £2,000. £1,000 to do a scan on a dog's jaw, like his chin. Ridiculous. I know the insurance is covering it, guys. I'm in a way. I mean, I'm not enjoying my dog being not right, but I'm enjoying actually giving the insurance company a kick up the arse and actually making them pay out. But my worry is my renewal isn't until December. So if these lot are bleeding this insurance policy dry, I'm potentially going to be left with no insurance until it renews in December. So I'm going to ask them, does this scan really warrant £2,000? I know they can make whatever the figure they want up to get a bloody a claim, but it's mounting up now. You know, if that's £2,000, it was 600 the other day. There was another 100 on top of that. Then it's going to be another one. So I'm just a bit worried. So until he gets the procedure, well, we're waiting on tests. I'm waiting on a phone call today. So I can't do a great deal of filming because I need my phone's on airplane mode right now. So the vets are trying to ring, they can't get through. So I'm sorry, it's going to be a bit short and sweet today. But I'm waiting for a phone call to get what the tests are of this lump because I took a sample. Then when they find out what it is, they're going to let me know today where we go from there. He may need an operation. He may need sedated again to actually get it drained. He may need to go for this scan. So me and Holly are a bit on tender hooks this weekend. We're really kind of not in the best of... just watching some old geezer behind me here. Getting rather close on icy conditions. As you can see there. He's not really... He's practically touching the back bumper. So, yeah. So yeah, on tender hooks, just waiting for this phone call, and then we'll be led to know where we're going. Operation, or drain it, or scan, and all this is more and more money. For the insurance company, don't get us wrong, but once we've run out this £7,000 limit we've got no cover. Or whatever money they take out of this limit, that's all we've got to last until December. So I'm getting a little bit peeved off. Do you guys think that's right? £2,000 just to do a quick scan of a dog's, like, jaw area? It's a bit flipping ridiculous, like. On the lines of dogs, they're getting left at home. I'm going to grab work coffee because I'm bloody freezing. I fancy a nice coffee. And me and my dad want to get to the garage, do a few bits and bobs there. Then I'm actually going to take this car, this Fusion, back home because that's where it's been collected from, and walk the dogs into the garage. They're going to have to just have a morning off while it's actually nicely drying up there now, to like what they were earlier. So... yeah, just thought I'd give you the usual Tuesday morning rant. Again, this week could be on and off because they might want Hunter in earlier rather than later for a procedure. Me and Holly just don't want him having to go under this anaesthetic because he was in a real bad way on Friday night. Broke our hearts, actually, the poor thing. He was sitting crying. We had to wrap him up in his bed. He was like a little baby. Mind, the next morning he was fine. But like we're saying, we don't want to have to get him sedated again for a scan, then sedated again for an operation. That's 3 times, and I don't like it. It's getting a little bit too much now, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I'll catch you soon when I'm back at the garage and I've got my coffees. Hello guys, and I have to apologise. I didn't even get time to do any recording at the garage today. There was a Cougar in, which I'll show you the parts from tomorrow. Just a service and an MOT, but the usual fuel filters on those clog up quite regular. Going to start doing them 12 to 24 monthly, actually. It's a known fault with them. That's all done and sorted. As you've seen in my video earlier, the little Fusion's done. That's getting picked up tonight. Had the rear wheel bearing done and MOT'd. Happy days. That's that one gone. And that's the state of my fleet at the moment. My van and the Altea. The ZX is still in storage, and the ML, I'm getting that out of storage probably at the end of this week, possibly, just to see how that is. But obviously, as you've seen this morning, it was covered in snow. The salt is down super thick everywhere, so definitely not wanting to drive that until the roads are fully clear of salt. So that might have to wait another week. Sorry guys, as I mentioned, the phone had to be kept on all day for the dog, the results for the dog. It's come back as good news for the lump. It's nothing serious, but at the same time it could involve surgery or something if it doesn't, the swelling doesn't go down. So I'm going to keep him on the meds for the rest of this week, and then on Monday coming another appointment at the vet and decide where we're going from there. Maybe leave it another 2 weeks and go from there. So just in case any of you are concerned, he's perfectly well. There's the two of them sitting in there. He's perfectly well in himself, but this little lump on, wait, I'm saying little lump, it's quite big for what we're happy with. He'll probably not let us hold him, more than likely. Hunter, what's this? He's sick to death of people touching him, but you can just see it there on his neck. So we're still not overly happy with it, but here's Charlie. Just picked him up from school, haven't you? Yeah. You had a good day at school? Yeah. Here's Hunter jumping up for attention as well. So yeah, that's another reason. I apologise. I just cut things today. As you know, guys, you all have pets yourself, and family and pets come first, and work before YouTube. So unfortunately, sometimes the channel has to take a back seat. We're back to normal service tomorrow, so to speak. Got to take Charlie to school in the morning. So it'll be here and there. Just the rest of this week, it'll depend if we get any more phone calls off the vets, but I doubt it. It's just going to be Monday for the appointment. Sorry to listen to us ramble on, but sometimes, as you know, you've got to put your priorities in the right place, and that is my priorities. Getting my son to school, seeing that my pets are okay, obviously, and getting the work done at the garage. So yeah, and the donuts and coffee was very nice that I had, but that's about all I've had for my dinner today. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Wednesday's vlog. Hello guys, and welcome to Wednesday's vlog. Obviously I apologise about yesterday. I've done a bit of a video to explain that. Just simply couldn't get any footage in, didn't get time, and obviously with everything else going on, you know. And this morning the same, I dropped my son off at school, had a few other little bits and bobs to do. just nowadays, I'm just onto something different. Cash, getting cash. A car that got picked up, I said I wanted the money, cash for it, and they transferred it to my bank. Not deliberately, but they did. And just trying to get money out. The shops where we live, we used to have 4 cash machines. 2 of them then decided to start charging you. And I don't know about you guys, but my personal opinion on that, it's not about being tight. It's about the principle. I'd sooner walk a couple of miles to get money out than pay to get me own money out the bank. I absolutely refuse to pay money to get me money out the bank. But anyways, out of the 4, we used to have 2 that was free. One at the Co-op, which you seen in yesterday's video, and one at, where was the other one? The post office. Since the post office has shut down, so we've lost that one. So now we only have 1 free cash point. So I went to the cash point, wasn't working. I wanted to try and get to work at this point. This was after dropping Charlie off at school. Went into the shop, bought something pointless that I didn't need, and says, can I have £70 cash back? Can't give you £70 cash back. I've only got £30 in the till, which I find hard to believe. So, you know, just little things like that nowadays. All showing you towards going to a cashless society now, isn't it? And it's not ideal, because when you do a job for somebody for practically free, that money that I needed out was just simply to cover the cost of what I had to spend out my money to do that, you know? So yeah, not good. Anyways, as if things weren't bad enough with the dog and all the rest of it, my grandma got took into hospital last night, but she's okay, she's out the day. But my mum's had a hard time with it up till 3 in the morning, and now she's got Olivia. You might actually see her shortly. She's got the little in for the day. So yeah. So anyways, on to what's going on in the garage. Civic in, Mark 9 Civic. I do like these. The ones I followed these, I'm not so keen on. But I would definitely have one of these in the 2.2 Addict, they call it. Mainly because they're a lot better than the older ones. Even though they've got a DPF, it'll be one of the only engines I'll tell you that the DPF one's better. It's got a better turbo on it, better injectors, and a really high, good rate to remap them as well. So I would have one. I'll show you on that car shortly what's happening. I'll just quickly show you what has been in this morning, which hasn't been on the video, was the Mini. We fitted the wiper to last week, just for an MOT. That was it. Not a great deal to show. Got this funny looking thing in, the Ignis. I don't know, my opinion is very much divided on this. Mechanically wise, good cars, I would have 100%. If it was the 4-wheel drive one, sort of. But what I can't get away with is the back end. I can't get away with the back end on them. I don't know why I don't like it. Mainly because, say it as you will, it's got the posture of a dog having the number 2. I just don't know. I'm just not keen of it. Even if they'd put some bit fatter tyres on it or something, but the little skinny little tyres in that weird back end, I don't know. For me, if I wanted to have something, it would have to be the Swift. But again, these with the 4-grip though, are a canny little car. There's nothing wrong with the car. I just personally don't like the rear end of them. You know, I think they've made a bit of effort with this and everything, but it's just too lopped off. I don't know. I can't get away with it. I'm not saying it's a bad car. I just can't get away with that rear end. But yeah, nevertheless, a canny little car. I would not tell somebody not to buy one. I would have one. I would have a one, but not for the money that they pull these days. I'm talking in years to come when they become less valuable and a cheap runabout. I would 100% have one. Definitely own one. Just with a back end like that, I wouldn't pay tens of thousands of pounds for one. That's all I'm saying on the matter. That's only in for MOT, no issues, as suspected, because it's a Suzuki, they're mint. No problems. So that's that. This is in for a service, which I've already done, as you can see. All the brake pipes have been greased up around the filler, the tank filler, up to the front, and I've done all them pipes up there. And again, the cover's been off, so I've greased all these up because they do tend to get very tight. Just little things we do, which are, again, there's too much effort for the dealers to do. Front tyres are getting quite near, almost on the 1.6mm there. Just an advisory for them to get them sorted, as well as the rear pads are getting near, but I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up. Maybe just there, I don't know, don't think so. But the rear pads are an advisory as well, if he wants to get them done. But yeah, nice and easy to work on. I'm going to bring this down now, and I'll come back to you. Right, just like magic, it's off the lift like that. So yeah, so this is obviously the Mark 9 Civic. I do think the Mark 8, the one before this, looks a bit more futuristic. So what's the best word? Space age. You know, like to say this, the first come out in about 05, that I don't think you're ever going to get a car like that again. There's a few of them that get close to it. This, they've very much dulled down the styling, in my opinion. Not in a bad way, because I do actually like this one. But the ones that followed were like the 3 exhausts in the middle and stuff, not quite my cup of tea. But even the front ends, even the bonnet open, this is just a bottom of the range one. They're quite a nice looking car, but I will say the Type R in the higher spec ones of these look lovely. But this car in particular, in fact not this car, the Mark 9 in particular, filled a gap in the market, which for some reason they haven't carried across to the Mark 10, is the fact of always what I said with the Mark 8, the one previous to this, was the back end was just a bit too small. Well, what they did with this one was they made an estate version, which was great. So yeah, for me, it would have to be the estate, the 2.2 ID Tech in EX spec executive, where you get the leather seats, heated leather, panoramic roof, and all the bits inside. Definitely would be a car, if the prices weren't ridiculous like what they are now, that I would buy 100%. But they are great cars. Really, there's very few problems with them. This has just got the little piddly 1.4 petrol in. Absolutely bulletproof. Just don't expect it to, pull the skin off a rice pudding. But reliability-wise, they're like nothing else, really. One thing I will say is check the spark plugs keep tight on them. That's the only issue I've ever had with one of these. EGR there. 2 little bolts, comes off. Air filter, 3 clips, comes off in your hand. It's just so nice and easy and simple to work on. The antifreeze has all been strengthened up, screen wash, check the brake fluid, all the usual checks. But one thing I have spied, which is wrong, which I'm going to get to now from inside of this car, which I didn't like with the Mark 8, and I like even less of this because they've not done nothing about it. Actually, they've tried to improve it, but gained nothing. This back wiper has got no blade on. So I'm going to get one of them. And like I mentioned, factory tinted glass, scratching, it really shows up the marks. In fact, can you see there? Just there, that has actually scratched the glass. I don't know if you can see where I rub off that dirt. There, you see that there? That there? And that's just for the sake of changing the wiper. You've knocked your back glass now. But yeah, anyways. So on the other one, this was glass like this is, normal, but with no wiper. Then you've got this bit here, as you can see, but on this one, it's now glass. But they've slightly improved it. You can't see through all the dirt, but they've got the heating elements in it. So where the other one, this was plastic. So what happened was, when you put your heated rear screen on, you could see the sky no problem, but all of this would stay fogged and frosted up, and you couldn't see behind you. So they put a wiper on. That might seem okay. I do love the back split tailgates. They're not split, but where the glass is here. I like the way they've kept that. I do like it, but it is very impractical for driving, I will say. So we'll jump in and we'll have a look through the mirrors. Now, as you can see, where the wiper is, all you can see, or shall I switch this round? Yeah, all you can see is the sky. So all the wiper wipes is the sky. The bit you need to be seeing, that's the dirt off that, is this bit at the bottom. And as you can see, you can't see nothing. It'll clear the steam off it when the glass is clean, but they should have designed, and I would have loved to have seen this, a little wiper, an extra little wiper, and I think they would have really set it off. But these are terrible for rear visibility, and they always wear the Mark 8s as well. But how cool would that have been for them to have even just designed a little cleaning system, little jets here and here, to maybe rinse it or something? It probably wouldn't work, but like some kind of little something, like a little blade that just sat here and it would just come across. I'm just getting a little bit excited, like stupid wipers there, but I do genuinely think that would have made a huge improvement to the car. And again, the hidden door handles, another little nod to the Mark 8. Great, like that a lot. But again, this is just your base spec one, nothing of interest. The inside, they've definitely dulled down the space age kind of dash. It's still got it's just not as, on the other one, this was all in one, which I quite liked better than this thing. And this is rather boring in comparison to the Mark 8s as well. I mean, the top spec ones wouldn't be. But yeah, I would definitely have the EX spec one. with all the extra gadgetry, the glass roof, leather seats, and the proper 2.2 ID Tech engine in. I'm still on the hunt for one of those if one ever popped up. But yeah, there's a little sort of midweek review. That's what we're on. And like I said, it's just had an oil and filter done, air filter, checked over, waxed out the pipes, advised the rear pads, advised the front tyres. And that's it, guys. They topped up the antifreeze, not a great deal else. I'm just going to go and do a few other little checks, get that wiper sorted, and I might stick a new set of front wipers on it as well, because I've just spied that is coming off as well. So we'll stick a new front wiper on there if I've got one to fit. So yeah, there we go. There's the Mark 9 Civic. Thumbs up for me, 100%. So I'll catch you guys later on. I'm debating doing a few things this afternoon if I have time. I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. But it's going to be a bit of a shorter one this week regardless. So I'll catch you either later on today or tomorrow on Thursday. Back again on Wednesday. A few things I forgot to mention, which I'll add in now. So obviously on the Civic, the front wipers weren't great, like I mentioned. So obviously we stocked the Bosch wipers. So it's got a nice set of Bosch wipers on there, nicely wiping. Obviously, I mean, that's something I'm a finicky with. I do not fit cheap wipers, only Bosch. And the rear one is going to come as a Denso. They're like a Denso hybrid. That's not actually a hybrid, it's just a normal Denso rear wiper. But I'm going to see how that comes. There was one thing I forgot to mention. Yesterday, the Cougar that was in, the 1500 DV5 Citroen Peugeot engine and the 2-litre Citroen Peugeot engine that the Cougars and the Mondeos use, these fuel filters I wanted to just show you are becoming very problematic. They're too small. I mean, for a 2-litre, 200 brake horsepower engine, these are absolutely tiny and they clog up so bad. I mean, the ones that come to you out the box are that colour. So yeah, I've especially kept this behind to show you, and that is rock hard. And this can cause a lot of power issues, and this car's been suffering with like surging and losing a bit of power now and again, as you know, with the EGR mapping and stuff on it. So yeah, I want to show you that, just if you own a Cougar or anything really, the Focus and the Fiestas have the 1500. It's Ford's basically 2-litre TDCi and 1500 TDCi. Citroen and Peugeot engine basically. But yeah, I'm going to start recommending my customers with any of these engines now yearly if they're doing more than 10,000, or definitely 24 monthly, 2 yearly if they're not quite doing the 10,000. 100% regardless of miles, 2 years now, because they are proven to be a hell of a problem. So yeah, just wanted to put that bit in. And the Civic, like I said, I'm just their version of this is a standard blade, like, you know, like them Bosch ones I put on the front. They're saying it has one of those on the back and it doesn't. That's how they come. Like, this a Denso hybrid, and usually they don't have it listed for it, but it will. I'm hoping it'll fit. So I've got a Denso hybrid and an exact fit one coming, whichever one. I'm going to obviously try the Denso one because I want that to go on. If not, the Bosch one that comes later I'll have to do. So there we go. So I've got the boyos out with me mum. They're having a good run round, as usual, going mad. And I've got my little mechanic in here. Well, she loves getting hands-on with stuff. See what mood she's in. Hello? Oh, there we go. She's seen the camera. Who's on there? What have you dropped? Who's that down there? What's its name? What is it? Do you want it? There. You want to say hello? No, she's still a bit quiet, getting over her chicken pox, aren't you? Want to say hello on the camera? No. She pretends to be shy on the camera, and I can assure you all, if you've seen her on other videos, she is the least shy little girl you will ever meet. But for some reason on the camera, she's shy, which makes us laugh. Because the minute I press that button to stop recording, she's a little chatterbox, she won't stop. Are you going to talk or not? Just saying no. No? No? Not today, everybody. Anyways, I'll catch you soon. I've debated bringing my van in to do the front drop links, but I'll just see how things go. And while my mum's here, I might see if she can give us a lift up home just to bring it back into here. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Just an update on Wednesday, where what I was telling you, I'm going to do, well, I've got a bit of time, the drop links on this. So I've got the 2 new drop links ready to go on, Lemforda ones, and I've just spied that the inside, got the light, the inside pad on these It's not bad, but it's getting a little bit close. So I don't like to see what it is. I'm not going to do enough miles to wear them down. But when the pistons are pushed all the way out like that, you get problems with the calipers. So I like to have the newer pads in to keep it right. So I'll stick a new set of pads in, and we've got the drop links ready to go. On here, no different to any of my customers' cars. Like I said, they get treated the same as my own. 11 not a high value vehicle, but I only ever fit the original stuff on these, the plastic ones. So that's them. And the main point I've just wanted to put this bit video in was there's a couple of people this week left buy me a coffee donations. If any of you guys ever feel the need to exactly what it says on the tin, I may not always keep it to the word coffee. If it's a Friday, I may get me 4 cans of beer, something like that. But along the lines of that money only goes towards kind of what it says. So as the two people, I forgot what are, Kit and Paul. I'm not going to mention exact names in case you don't want to, but they left me a donation, which thank you very much. And just so you see, on yesterday's vlog when I was at the co-op, I got 2 coffees, one for me and my dad, and also there's the final one there, a pack of donuts as well. So just so you see, the money that you do pass on and donate doesn't just get spent on, I was going to say me going down to the pub, but like, yeah, if you want to leave it, buy me a coffee donation on a Friday after a busy week, then yeah, that money will go towards getting us a pint or something. You know, there's no limit to it, anything, you know, don't feel obliged. You know, literally, it's exactly that. Buy me a coffee. Like, what's a coffee these days from a shop? 2 or 3 quid? I'm not like these people begging for, you know, flipping God knows how much money. It's just like a small token of appreciation, you know, like people say, like, you know, there you go, make yourself your dinner or get yourself a coffee. That's what it's there for. It's not there for me to beg and you'll be thinking loads of money coming in. It's exactly that. Just on a hot day, it's enough to buy a nice cold drink. On a cold day like today, it's nice to get us a nice hot coffee or a donut or whatever, you know. So just thought I'd show you that generally the money that does come in does go towards exactly, so to speak, what it says on the tin. So thanks to you all anyways for that one. There's been a few other people. Kevin did near Christmas time. He left some money for us. Similar thing again, just towards getting you know, a drink or something. So yeah, so I'm going to get on with this now. That's the van done. I'm waiting on Euro Parts to call us back, as I am sick. I'm honestly that close with them lot. Like, the only thing is, these like Lemforder parts and stuff like that, the Denzos, I kind of get them from other places. But what it is, we've got our main account, what we use with them for everything, what you see we're doing every day on customers' cars. And for years and years, I've had a cash account, which is basically for my projects, my dad's cars, family members' cars, anybody who helps out in the garage and they want to do work on that car, I get it on the cash account. We don't put that through the books. You know, doing work, I'm not going to book myself out for my own car, Holly's car, friends' cars who help us out, stuff like that. You know, like the stuff that's on my dashboard. Sam did wiring at home, you see, with me loft. That's the stuff there for his Mini. I mean, them spark plugs alone were over 50 quid. So, but I'm not going to put that through the business because it's not profitable. It's just helping friends, you know. And there's terms on the 2 accounts. So always what they used to do was match our main account to the cash account. Yes, clearly the cash account gets pennies put through on it, but it just meant, like, for example, if a filter is a £5, right, on the garage account, they're wanting to charge me 7 or 8 quid on the cash account. I'm like, I'm not paying more money for stuff just for laughs and giggles. And now they're getting a bit arsey about it and stuff. So now when you order something, they've got to go change the price manually and then come back. It's like, just change the term. It was like that for 10 years or more. Just flip and leave it be. Just cancel, you know, link it across. They won't do it. And then they get funny with you in the office. It's like, well, look, say the pads are 30 quid. Why am I going to pay 35 just for a laugh? You know? So, yeah, I'm waiting on a call now and watching the clock because we're only 5 minutes off the 2 o'clock van, which I don't want to miss. So I'm going to get straight onto the phone to them any minute and see if they've managed to get this price link thing across to get them booked out. Because the annoying thing is, they'll sit on the epoxy shelf, they're ready to go at 2 o'clock, but they won't release them until I've paid. But I can't pay till I've adjusted the price. So you can guarantee at 2:05 when the van leaves, they'll say, all right, then you can pay now. then they're stuck on the van till God knows when. So yeah, see how it goes. But that's the nonsense we've got to deal. To say we spend thousands and thousands of pounds with them, the how can I say, the customer service is shit, and it's not from the lads in the office. They are no problem at all. It's the powers that be at the top who run it. I think it's LKQ or LQK or something now who own them. Just a bunch of flipping rich people at the top who have no idea what they're doing, making all the rules, and that's bad for me. But the stories that I hear, how the delivery drivers get threatened, the staff in the offices, they don't get a good life through it either. So it's all just going downhill now with these big organisations taking over all the different companies. It's a bit like everything else, isn't it? Your gas and electric, and the big people at the top make the rules, and they haven't got a clue what they're doing. So yeah, we'll leave it there. I'll catch you soon when I get this stripped down. Hello guys, and welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Woke up this morning again to another whiteout. Didn't expect this well into March. I really didn't. And this is like proper snow. I don't know if we're going to get some more, but we've certainly, a drop from that has just gone straight down my neck. Oh, yeah, but I've had a proper cover, and this has actually now started to thaw out a little bit, but it's quite a considerable amount, which I expected to wake up to. So anyways, what's in today? This little Fiesta, this is a good one. I want first chance of this if I ever get it. These are cracking little cars. This is the 1.4 titanium. For any of these engines, you want the Z-Tech. 1.25, 1.4, 1.6, bulletproof. Absolutely bulletproof, never go wrong. But this car is just on another level. It's been garaged from brand new. Hasn't got a mark on it. And I'm not joking you, I've just changed the oil on it and it's come out like new oil. Customer request, not that she wants it serviced every year. It's still the right way to do it. And it's only got 35,000 mile on. With it being the titanium bar, heated leather seats, you get just about all the extras, cruise control, all the good stuff, heated windscreen. So yeah, cracking little car this one. To be quite honest, we could have used the oil out of this for something else. So yeah, electric folding mirrors when you lock it there. So that's that. The van last night, got the drop links done, the front pads. I've actually recorded that, but on a separate video on the van vlog. So that'll be coming on to that shortly. And I'm waiting maybe today or tomorrow. I've got some Team Hecko wind deflectors, as I've explained. So when I leave the dogs in the van, I can have the windows down just a little bit, and it saves any little scroats being able to see that the windows are open. Or if we get a heavy downpour of rain, it doesn't get the van wet. So we've got this in. I believe it's the 1600 diesel Fiat engine. Not very nice. Timing chain runs down the inside of the gearbox. Not good. But when they're running and driving, perfectly fine. But this one, Turbo D, we're going back to the old flipping the Mark III Astras used to have that written on the back, Turbo D. I don't know who on earth has put that on there. It just looks absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why they didn't just put like the normal CDTI or something on, but it makes me laugh every time I see that on the back of a Vauxhall. And the D's in black, so it must mean it's the powerful one. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, this is in for MOT, possible MOT in service. But this thing is fully loaded. It's the elite one. It's got all of the self-opening tailgate, all of the, much better style of Insignia than the other ones. They have improved them, but they've still cut back. You look at the van, the top seal of the door almost matches up in line. So you get a full square back, useful space to use, same obviously with them. But with this, that rear seal there comes down to here. It cuts off all that space. You work that out. All that space from there down over to about here, out to there, is just wasted. Because you don't have a proper... you don't have the roof space to fit something in, So, yeah, but I am going to quickly do on this, because I've tried using it before. Obviously, we'll close it. Let's give that a little rub, the camera, because that was not working very good 2 minutes ago when I was reversing it. So, yeah, what this is in for, obviously, apart from a service, it's got an engine management light on, which I'm going to look at now. But I'm just going to let you join us, and we'll do... See, I can't remember if these can be reset via in the car. This thing's just loaded with spec though. I mean, you can adjust how far the automatic boot comes up, switch it off, folding mirrors, It's got the whole wax speed sign recognition, heated seats, heated steering wheel, full digital dashboard. But what I am going to do is just switch it on but not start it, or attempt to at least. See, I'm just trying to get it to have what we class as like some form of an ignition. Again, with new cars, I can't stand it. I think it means that's on. So let's see if it'll allow it into the, see, start vehicle to view application. I don't really want to start it, but we're going to have to. So obviously it's got all the headlamp, the automatic moving up and down, side to side headlamps, automatic main beam, more than likely adaptive cruise control. Yeah, so up there you see the collision alert. It does this thing where it revs itself up a little bit as well when it's cold. But anyways, what we're interested in is the service light there. So we're going to try and dismiss all these there oil life. Now, I was just debating how to do it. Now, I think you just hold in the tick button and it beeps. And it might, but if not, we're probably going to have to go to the diagnostic side of it. I'm just keeping it held in for about 10 seconds. That, and just see if it does. I don't think it will. I can't remember what I did with this last year. I'm sure maybe it's got to be on the diagnostics. Yeah. I'm just seeing if there's anything I can do. Ah, what was that? See the parking. See, there's too much going on with these new cars. It's got lane control. I don't even know. I think that must be self-parking, and that's the parking sensors which are switching off. And you see, I've only turned me back for 2 seconds, and we've already got 1 million notifications. Right, so there, reset oil life. Reset. Do you want to reset? Just with that, yes. Will it reset or not? Because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. No, see, it didn't want to work that time. We'll try it again. What you've sometimes got to do is actually keep this held in. See, what I normally would do with these is when they're not running, it would let you. So for some reason, I don't know why this one isn't. Right, so after a bit more faffing about, so as you see, you can't get the ignition just to switch on. If you press the clutch, it starts the engine. And I think when the engine's running, it doesn't let you do it. So we're going to try this way to trick the system, right? So what we're going to do is press the clutch in, but press the start button, and then just quickly release the clutch. Like that to trick it, you see? So now it's gone to green. So now we've got ignition. Doesn't tell you anywhere in the book that you should do that. And now we'll see if we can get it to work. Reset. Are you sure? Yes. It's been a bit awkward. There we go. You see? There. So I've had to put the handbrake on, fool it into thinking it started, because there is no other way you can get that. You can hold it, you can do what you want, and you'll only get the orange light. See? Then obviously if you press the clutch and press it again, it'll start. But what you've got to do is press it and quickly let your foot off the clutch before it actually starts. Like that, you see? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So there we go. That's it now. 100% oil life remaining. So we'll go back. Info. Just try and get it back to where the lady left it. To our speedo. Whatever it is. There we go. I like to leave things back how customers had it. So there we go. But the other issue we've got, we will start it up now. It's down there. Hidden by the fuel gauge. Right. Once it starts acting normal. Got an engine management light on. According to Vauxhall, they say it's a glow plug, but we shall see. Fortunately, the scanner doesn't like the cold this morning, so I had it out here before it went from 100% to 1% and nearly died. So it's in the office, but luckily it's Bluetooth. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to plug the dongle in. It's under here somewhere, and I'm going to stand in the office and we can read the codes on the car. According to Vauxhall, something to do with a glow plug. I have got a genuine Vauxhall glow plug here in the box. It's what you call the brown box system. I was explaining this to you a while ago. I'll try and get it opened. Known as like the brown box scheme. But inside of here, in a piece of greaseproof paper, is a genuine, and I can get the paper open, you might not be able to see it, a genuine, but again, genuine, like I keep telling you, means nothing, because it tells you there, see that there, GM? Try and put it somewhere where it's going to focus a bit better. Maybe actually on the car itself, because it's black surface. There, GM. But if you look just below that, Borg Warner, which we get anyway. So, but anyways, it's a genuine Vauxhall one. So we shall see what the codes come up as. So I'm just going to plug that in now, and I'll join you in a second in the office. So again, to get the scanner to work, it's the same madness. It won't work with the normal orange light on because the ignition isn't on for the scanner to connect to it. So what to do, the same stupidity of having to hold the clutch, pressing it and quickly letting your foot off the clutch before it starts to get the full ignition up. I don't know if you can see in the screen, I don't know if the camera can see, you can just there. It's got the head-up display with your speed in the speed limit. I do like that idea. I really do like those projectors. They're very good for when you're driving. So we've got ignition on, scanner's connected. We're just going to go in and we'll have a look where it's warm. So you can be the first to see it with me. We'll connect it up. Scanner's deciding to behave itself. That's saying it's connected. It's actually just done a Vauxhall update, so we did have problems with this car with the handbrake last time. So hopefully it should just connect. Takes a little bit of time, obviously. There we go. I would just pause this, but you see you want to see using the equipment, so there you go. So read the VIN. There you go, that's the VIN. Okay. Should do it with being a new car, and it should be relatively fast being a new car as well. I would do a full vehicle scan and wipe all the codes, but just to be quicker, when we get to it, see it's doing the scan or like the engine control module, transmission. Oh, there we go. So it's manual. It asks you a load of random questions with these Vauxhalls. Some of the stuff you know, others you don't. It'll ask something about like the headlamps and God knows what, like codes and numbers. There's no way on earth we would know that. So we'll just see what pops up. It's the only thing, you've got to stand around and wait like this just to get a code, but unfortunately that's the way of modern cars here. Parking assist control version. Parking assistant with semi-automatic steering, with semi-automatic steering and braking. I've got no idea, so I'm just going to randomly hit any of them, because well, how would you know that? And ask you, I'm sure I'll ask you for something to do with the codes for the headlamps. It's like how you would know that is beyond me. There, see, radio type. I've got no idea, so we're just going to press any. Surprised it didn't ask for the other one there. Right, so diagnostics. I would say auto scan, but would be quicker around. Just going to there, engine control module. See what we'll come up with. That she said Vauxhall said it was something to do with glow plugs. We shall see. Cylinder 2, cylinder 4. So 2 glow plugs. Module, powertrain, that's nothing to worry about. Loss of communication. Loss of communication with knock sensor 1 and 2 module. It's a bit worrying those two because they're quite expensive, the knock sensors, but it's definitely saying 2 glow plugs, 2 and 4. Fortunately, I've only got 1 ordered in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to order another one. So we'll change 2 and 4 glow plug, but if the light comes straight back on again, it's this knock sensor. And the knock sensor, that round, is what's in the exhaust. And they have a module, it's like a lambda sensor for a petrol, a probe that goes in the exhaust. But within the wire of that probe is a module, like a mini ECU. And I've heard that crazy prices, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to £1,000. So fingers crossed, we'll wipe this light off, we'll change the glow plugs, and it shouldn't come back on. If it does, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear all them codes to start with, but we'll see. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to order another glow plug. I'm going to make a note of which 2 it is. Normally counting from 1 at the right-hand side of the car, so to speak. But sometimes they can muddle you up with that. Normally I class the gearbox side as 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally works like that, but they can confuse you sometimes. Same with coil packs and spark plugs, just be careful. So I'll catch you soon. Just an update on proceedings. So I'll just show you. Got the 2 glow plugs out. Nice and simple. No bother there for once. So they're the 2 out, number 4, number 2. And you can tell they haven't been working because that black is the ace of spades. But as you can see, genuine Vauxhall. What you can see, the boxes are, it actually gives you the Vauxhall number on them. They're genuine Vauxhall. I wouldn't be surprised underneath that sticker if the Vauxhall I wonder actually if I can manage this. I don't think I can. Nah, they'll have reboxed them. But yeah, these are genuine Vauxhall ones to go in. A few little things that I do, and I don't care whether or not you approve of it or not, because it works for me. Tiny little smearing of grease on the threads. It's a conductive grease, so it won't affect the earthing of it. So them two are greased. The way I look at it is, if you grease them, you're not going to have any problems. And the only other thing I do as well, on the plugs, I put a little bit of silicone grease in the end, because that's when you knack those, you knack the whole wiring loom, so that they pop on nicely and they pop off when required. Obviously they go over this like shroud, as you can see on there. So that's them. The air filter wasn't too bad, but I rang the customer up and she said just change it, she wants it done. Because I don't remember us fitting this one. It is a man one. I don't know when that was done, because we haven't serviced this car, I don't think, before, from what I can remember. But it's not really ideal. It is getting a bit sort of black. So she said just do it, so I've done it. But the other thing though, the oil filter I wanted to show you, that's the new one in there, nice and clean. But the old one is absolutely, I don't even want to touch it with my hands, but that has gone rock hard. You can see it's like sludge in it, and that there's meant to be as soft as paper, and it's like concrete knocking on it. So you know that just touching it, awful. So yeah, this definitely, that's me next. Obviously I'm getting the oil filter back in there now, the two glow plugs back in, air filter's done, pop the engine cover on, take it up and drop the oil out. But I can guarantee, if you want to paint your fence with some good black paint, that's what's going to be coming out this engine. It's because the lady doesn't do many long drives, all local driving, and really you shouldn't have a diesel. If you're not doing long drives these days, they do not like it. So that's that. We'll get the glow plugs popped in, air filter's done, oil filter in, drain the oil, and that's it. But I will say, you know how much of not a fan I am of Vauxhalls. This isn't too bad. Especially, I hate the Insignia normally, but I could deal with this. This engine, even though that oil's quite bad, seems alright. Lovely easy air filter, which is unusual for a Vauxhall. Nice easy oil filter. Glow plugs are accessible. Turbos accessible. Injectors are accessible. Everything seems okay. Timing belt area, nice. I believe this is a redeveloped version of the 2-litre CDTI Fiat engine in the old ones, but it's not too bad. It's got a lot of Vauxhall. I can't spy any Fiat on it. Somebody's told us on a forum that it still is some kind of Fiat, but I can't see anything, any little telltales on it anywhere to suggest otherwise. But nevertheless, not a bad car. I mean, I wouldn't buy this, like, this amount of money, definitely not. I'm talking, bring that round, I'm talking 10, 15 years time when these become older bangers cars. I would consider one, 100%. The old Insignias, definitely not. I'd sooner walk than have one of those. Hate them. So yeah, a little delivery just been made. Me wind deflectors for the van. I'll come back years later when this is on the lift and when I've got them fitted. I might do a little picture on the channel. Like I've mentioned, they're not to look cool. Like this car's got them on. They're not to look cool, but the same as this lady has dogs. They're there so I can keep the windows cracked open, so the dogs get some ventilation without any scumbags seeing the windows open. So there we go. I'll catch you later. I'm going to get on and put this back together. Right, just going to pretty much finish off for today, guys, bar I might do a quick snippet before and after with the van, with the wind deflectors, but you've seen them all before. But yeah, just want to show you this. The oil and filter's been done, but I just want to show you the complexity of exhaust. It's about 2 heat sensors up there, as well as the 2 inputs for the DPF pressure sensor and NOx, well, like an oxygen sensor up there at the very top. Then you come down to here, and you've got your AdBlue injector, and then just, I think I've seen this before, next to it there, you've got another temperature sensor there, and the exhaust runs all the length of the car to the back here, where you've got your NOx sensor, which is here, which goes up to your module, which is that unit there. But if you notice, this wire, which comes from the sensor, is part of that module, so you can unplug it from the car, but this piece doesn't unplug. You've got to change that whole module there. And what the issue is, you've all seen AdBlue before, and if you haven't seen it before, when you spill some on the floor, it turns like white spider web, it crystallises. So what happens is, obviously that's, just again, just to clarify to people, your DPF is here, okay? And that just sprays DPF out the exhaust, right? So all these people, which you shouldn't do, I know, but when you get an AdBlue delete, people go, oh, well, the AdBlue you're poured into the tank cleans the DPF. It doesn't, because the AdBlue injector's here after the DPF. All it does is just atomises the stuff and sprays it down the exhaust, and it creates a chemical reaction so that whatever comes out the pipe has got less NOx in it. But I'm telling you what, spraying that stuff into the atmosphere cannot be doing any good. It's nasty, nasty stuff. So yeah, what happens is, anyways, this car's, the light hasn't come on yet, but I wouldn't expect it to, because it's only been run for a few minutes to check the oil. This sprays down the pipe. And what happens is the AdBlue gets onto the end of this sensor in the exhaust, and it crystallises inside of the sensor and knacks it up. And you can't repair them or anything like that. So these are like between £600 and £1,000. It's crazy. So we'll have to monitor it. As long as the light stops off long enough between driving it here to MOT it, it's fine. Because remember, like I told you, engine management lights on this 06 plate diesel, it's a pass and advise. This, because it's an 18 plate, it's a fail, because simply one reason is 08 onwards for diesels is MOT needs to have the engine light off. It's a fail. But hopefully with this one it stops off long enough, and if it does, it'll have to come in to have this done. I was going to change the fuel filter, but I can't get a one for days. Days, that is. So we're just going to have to leave that until some other point, and I'll get it ordered in. I find it weird why there wouldn't be a fuel filter for it, but whatever. And yeah, but just generally underneath, it's not bad, this thing, actually. The nice, simple rear suspension, nice, big, thick arm there. And one here, the other ones used to have an arm that would rust through here. This is your electronic sensor for the fancy LED bi-directional lamps. They're very expensive. And there'll be a one at the front as well, which is there, like a little tiny little mini little drop link onto a sensor. Trust me, those things are really expensive. So yeah, gearbox wise, I don't know. Probably some Fiat derived thing. They're too new to know. Like, this car's that new, like, we can't even get a hold of basic parts like fuel filters and stuff. So yeah, that's it. It's going to go for MOT later on today. It's serviced. In fact, I need to remember to cross it out the book, actually, because it's taking up the space which I've filled in. So yeah, not bad. I think it'll be the first Insignia I'll say I like. I most certainly wouldn't be spending silly money on one, but in years to come, 10 years or so, I would consider one as a cheap runner, so to speak. So yeah, we'll leave it there. I might go back here with the window fletters on the van. If I don't, I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog. As mentioned before, this is Thursday evening. I just thought I'd give you a little update. Just been doing a few little jobs. Got the wind deflectors fitted to the van. This won't be on a separate vlog. They're not on to look cool like some people put them on. Like I mentioned, they're on to serve a purpose, which I'll show you in a second. So obviously, that on, fitted. They don't really impact your visibility too much, but the reason I've bought them, for this vehicle especially, that's just what they look like from the inside, is on a hot day, and I don't leave the dogs in the van on a hot day, but if I've got to leave them, I still like ventilation, and you just pull the windows down to there. So as you can see, the glass is there, so the window is open that much. Shut the door, and you can't see that the window's open. So obviously you do the same on the other side, and that means that that there's airflow getting through. If there was to be a heavy shower, the water doesn't get in. And again, it's mainly for the opportunists for coming in, trying to force the window. Like I mentioned, you're not going to really, without wire cutters and God knows what, going to get far. But yeah, and obviously when you're driving as well, even when the window is fully down, or partly down, and it's raining, it stops all the water coming into the van. And what I absolutely hate, if you guys will know this, if you polish your vehicles and stuff like I do, when the water sits on it when it's been raining, and you first start off in the morning, it all runs down. Obviously in the summer, it's not so bad in the winter, but in the winter, I tend to have my windows open to stop them steaming up, and you're sitting there and it just runs down and straight onto your leg or on your arm or down your neck or something. These stop that, and they make it run off and down rather than in. But mainly even at speed when you're driving, with these, it stops like the kind of buffeting noise that you get. So yeah, they're not, a lot of people put them on just for how they look. I'm not going to lie, I've done that on a few cars where I've had no real reason to have them on, haven't had dogs in them, but for this, these are purely functional, functional only over, you know, stylish, but they are a very good idea. And all else I've been doing, we've had a stoplight out on this for a while. Just a nightmare. And again, when it's cold and you're dealing with this cheap shit plastic, there's a hidden screw in amongst all this here, which is just ridiculous. You probably can't even see. I've had to take like a little panel off, and then when you're pulling them, there's little clips down here, stupid little ball joints that go into there. And as you can see, I've put some silicone grease into there, and I've put some onto that. So we're going to get this put back on, because it was just that bulb down there, and these have got like an LED matrix inside of them, so you've got to be ever so careful. Just ridiculous ways of going on. Obviously in 2 torques on there, nothing out the ordinary, but just pathetic. Pathetic to change a bulb. And just remind me, guys, which country by law have to carry a pack of bulbs? I wonder who is it? The French. And they're the worst offenders. Renault, Citroën, Peugeot. They're the ones who force you to carry a pack of bulbs. How are you going to do that at the side of the road? You know what I mean? Pull all your luggage out. Have a Torx screwdriver randomly in your pocket. Without a Torx, you can't get them off. So do they say you've got to carry a toolkit? I don't know. You know, a lot of them you've got to take air filter boxes out, half the bumper off. In fact, the Astra, Holly shape, I know it's not a French car, you've got to go in through the wheel arch, so you've got to lie down on the floor to change a bulb. Mental. There needs to be some legislation made on every vehicle. Every bulb should be made accessible for the average person. And it's as simple as that. Rant over. Anyways, I'm getting this light put back in, and I'm getting myself home because I'm getting a bit cold. I've been stuck outside all day since like 8 o'clock this morning. Just want to get home, see me daughter, see Holly, get a shower, and I'm not going to lie, put my feet up and chill. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Friday morning. Hello guys, and welcome to Friday's vlog. Just saw you outside. I've decided to have a last night to come down heavy again, and today is no different. In fairness, this has just come out of nowhere. It was actually quite nice. This car was actually defrosting, lovely, a few minutes ago. So anyways, I'll leave this at the end of the week. Let us know how your week's been, because I believe some other places have had far more snow than here. It's been pretty much nothing. Yeah, but it would snow overnight, and by 10 o'clock in the morning, has been cold and nasty nights, but lovely days. So what happens is by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, the sun's out, actually hot, and it's melting everything away. Hence, as you can see, there's never been a great deal left on the ground. But how have you guys had it? Where you're from? Leave us a message. Have you had it difficult? I've been watching some people up the Pennines way. I think they've had it quite hard up there. The A66 has been shut. I was reading some Green Lane and group album part of people are getting stuck and had to get rescued. Bit silly going out when there's weather warnings out to have some fun, and then having to get the emergency services out. Bit of a dick move that, like. But anyways, I'll just show you what's in today. We've got my partner's dad's caddy van for MOT. Yeah, totally forgotten about, like a lot of people. I think it was due in October or something, but it's not unusual. We're getting so many people. The COVID has affected so many people's kind of memory of when things were due, because I'm telling you, it's unbelievable how many people are forgetting when the MOTs are due and all that to quite long extents. So yeah, this is the AdBlue one. This has actually been remapped. It was the basic like 70 or 80 brake horsepower, believe it or not, and it's ramped right up to about 160. It's crazy how power these things actually can. It's how they leave the factory, like I've explained. They're all the same, and they're just programmed at the, 85 brake, 100, 105, 140, blah, blah, blah. All the same engines, just whatever you decide to pay Volkswagen for them. This one, we AdBlue up to now, has not had any problems, but when it does, I'll be getting it wiped out for him. This had also had a speed limit I fitted. I think it was like 65 mile an hour. You had that removed, so the speed limit has removed on it. He got the speed line alloy wheels when he first got it, which I think definitely was an improvement over the other, like wheel trims that were on it. Looked awful, but they're quite a nice versatile van with the big the bulkhead, and obviously you've got a decent load area, and you've got your sliding door at the side. basically just a Golf. But actually, what they're based on is a Golf at the front. At the back is unique to caddy, which I'll show you underneath there shortly. It's just got the, well, I think you've seen a few of these underneath. But yeah, the 2 litre TDI, I would always recommend if you have a caddy, get the 2 litre. Don't get the one. If any VAG vehicle, avoid the 1.6. The 1.6 are absolute disaster zones. Always go for the 2 litre. And if you can, I know these are the Euro 6 with the AdBlue, actually go to the Euro 5, and you'll get the same engine what's in my Altea. Even better again. But yeah, this gets looked after, but it gets worked and used kind of hard, as it should, like it's a van basically. But yeah, that's that. And there's this Mondeo here. I was going to sort of slate Ford at first, but I've just had a look at the documents, and it doesn't really add up. You seen this in last week, and he's had it into Ford, and they've changed the track rod at the other side, but this was the one that were changed, and it was all ripped to bits and everything. Obviously loads of play in it, and the pads were down. Well, it's one of them here. Which one was it? That one there, almost razor thin. But when I've calculated the miles up, he's done almost 15,000 miles since he had it in there. So you cannot really... I'm going to put my hands up and actually defend the dealers there. You cannot go in shouting the odds off at them. So all it's back in for, he just simply wants us to check that the work he's been charged for has actually been done. Because like, if they've missed this and they've missed that, which in fairness, they should have seen the ripping in the boot. That hasn't just appeared. The pads, if it's been tight, I suppose under them mileage, definitely, yes, it could have worn down. But he just wants us to check the axle bushes on the back, which he's been charged about 500 quid for, have actually been changed. Because I said, I must admit, I'd give you a car full once over. But I don't recall seeing anything like shiny and new. I did a safety check, play on the wheels, looked around the bushes, but I couldn't really specifically see anything around the back end, like the bushes has been new. So I'm just going to double check under there, just to confirm they have done it, because you know what these dealers are like. They've got a habit of charging you for stuff and not even doing it. So yeah, that's basically all that's in for and dropped off. The caddy, I'm just going to pause this in a second. Once all we're doing at the back, by the way, is a bulb. This van is a nightmare for bulbs, whether that's just because he uses it a lot. But we've just put that back in. That was a wire which we need to push back into place. I've had these off a million times. Between this one and the Sprinter, which is Holly's sister's partner's van, that's all we ever seem to be getting in, doing bulbs and work on the Sprinter and this caddy. So yeah, that's the bulb done. Don't do the tyre pressures, check the oils, levels, all that, and it's just going in for MOT. It's got the snow tyres in case we need them. As where they work is on a big hill, so you do need them. And the interior, I'll give you a quick look. It is what it is. Basically a Golf, really. Air conditioning, little colour screen thing there. So yeah, all of the good times. I don't know if that red light's on down there, which must mean the back light's on in the van. Don't know why that's burning away. No idea. Just a little red light on down there. I don't know what that's actually for. There, on and off. I'm just going to turn that off anyways, because I don't really think that should be left burning like that. Doesn't make any difference in the back. So, I'm going to pause it. I'll show you quickly underneath, and we'll probably end it there, guys. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep this week's one a bit shorter. Just thought I would show you this, because of just, again, little things which just pay you off with jobs. This cover that goes on the back of the light, we've been changing the bulb, but this thing comes through. So it's almost impossible to get this in and fasten the two torques here and here. It took me and my dad the best part of 20 minutes of faffing about to try and get this back in. Just a joke the way they go on with vehicles nowadays. But I'm going to take it up and I'll show you underneath. Just thought I'd show you. Pretty much down under here, yeah, just underneath a Golf, an Altea, the same as what I've got basically. Not a great deal of difference. I am actually looking around here at this air conditioning compressor, because on mine, my Altea, I'm going to have a little bit play with that, because I would love to have the air conditioning working for this winter. Winter? Where did that come from? Summer. We've got plenty of winter here. But yeah, this is your Euro 6. I just wanted to show you that's your AdBlue tank with all of the governs there. And then it comes down to, where's it? Let's see if we can spy it without being dripped on. Yep, there's your AdBlue injector just there, which sprays into this big part of like a DPF. The main DPF's up there, but there's all sorts of catalysts and God knows what built in. And then also you've got your high and low pressure EGR system, and then you've got your knock sensor. which is there, which is another massive expense, as you seen on that Vauxhall yesterday. So yeah, but at the back though, you sharp know you're under a van, because it's about as simple as it gets. A massive beam with 2 leaf springs, as simple as it gets. It's just one bar with an anti-roll bar connected to it in a leaf spring setup. So it's very agricultural. They've got a very firm ride, which is what I don't understand, why some people get so giddy and excited about the caddies. Yeah, if it's a working van, no problem. Like this thing, great, yeah, it's fine. But these people who get themselves all excited about them and having caddies and stuff, I don't get it. They don't drive that nice. They are very bumpy, especially when you've got no load in the back. I mean, like, this is a little van here, but this has got proper, like, kind of rear suspension, like car suspension, because it is based on a car. Yeah, don't get us wrong. Your leaf spring suspension is great for a commercial vehicle, for work and for heavy loads, great. But to use as a normal car, like the Caddy Maxi they call it, which is like the car version, they still have this design, and it is very, very, very hard and bouncy ride at the back end. So just that's one thing I wanted to add. But yeah, it's just their usual kind of vag at the back end, really. That's the original wheels it was on. It looked awful. Really did look awful with those on, with crappy wheel trims. So yeah, it's a new van basically. It's a 16 plate, it's got a private plate on. So yeah, that's underneath one of these. So I'm just going to leave that one here, guys. We've got a few jobs coming in this afternoon, but I don't know what time I'm going to get to record. I just want to get it uploaded, because as you know, Fridays I pick my son up, so I would much rather be all done and sorted for later on, rather than have to sit and edit tonight when I could be spending time with my family. So I don't know how this week's been. It's been a bit on and off, up and down. The weather's been a bit odd. It's affected what work we've been able to get done. We've had a few cancellations here and there, but nevertheless we've been absolutely non-stop, and I've never been home once this week before 6-7 o'clock. So we'll leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I've said, when the later nights start coming and stuff, I'll stop back from work and start doing a bit of one-to-one work on my projects. But at the minute, when it's like this, it's just shit. I just want to get home and stuff like that. It's no good. So I'll catch you on next week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you've watched it right till the end, hit the like button, guys. It really does help. It doesn't cost you a penny. If there's anything you want to say or ask, leave a comment. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe. I'll catch you next week.